Hello YouTube, it is Tuesday, and that means Magic the Gathering, and I missed last week, all of last week, because I was grinding really hard to make Mythic on Magic Arena before the month ended, and I was successful in doing that. So today, I'm going to play a couple games with the deck that I used to make it to Mythic. So first we'll run through the list, and then we'll run through some games with that deck. So let's go.
Hey there, it's Grixis, doing all kinds of things. Hey there, it's Grix at school, playing all kinds of games. Pokemon and Magic the Gathering, come on down for all kinds of wild things.
So I'm just waiting for an opponent now. I'm only doing best of one, not best 2 out of 3. I feel like the deck just wants to play a game, win the game, and then move on to the next one. I don't want to give them a chance to sideboard and come back in game 2. So we're just doing best of ones. The games can go anywhere from 5 minutes to 10 minutes, because it's how long it takes to either win or be well aware that I'm losing. So we have no turn 1 creatures. We have a pump spell, we have Annex, we have light up the stage, but nothing to make it cost 1. I think this is a mulligan because we really want to come out perfect. This is the hand we want. We got 3/1 cost creatures, the pump spell, runaway Steamkin, and the pump spell is sweet because when you attach Embercleave and give something double strike and trample, giving that double strike trample thing +3/+2 is bonkers. So we put back the Fume Spitter because we have enough low cost dudes. So we are going to just start right away with attacking with Fervent Champions. Boom. You can probably hear my dog like scooting around on the ground. It's the best sound you'll ever hear. So now we can play our second Fervent Champion, and when I attack you're going to see that interaction where they pump each other, trigger, and they pump each other because each one's a knight, and now I'm hitting for 4 damage on turn 2. They're already at 15 life. And this is the potency that mono red can have, especially if they're playing like a control list. Though with an untapped plains, I feel like they're playing mono white devotion, and they don't have to turn to Daxos, which is nice. So we can keep on attacking. Runaway Steamkin. Pew, pew, pew. So we're gonna get in for another 4 damage here. Now I have the pump spell, and I could fire it off, but I am absolutely saving it. For just the right moment. If they block something, I can pump and give it my pump to the first strike dude. Oh, a Banishing Light. So when this comes in, it's going to exile something I control until Banishing Light leaves. They're going to take the Steamkin because no one likes Steamkins. There it goes. Now I'm free to get in for another 4 damage. Still going to save that pump spell. I feel like it's going to get used next turn. What I'm anticipating is next turn, they're going to play something to block, hopefully only one thing that can block, and then I can come in with all my dudes and infuriate the one that is not blocked, dealing lethal damage. There it is, Ajani. So they are going to probably minus the Ajani to make the token, and that is the block that I have predicted. So let's see what we draw. It is a Grim Initiate. That's fine. Let's go in for the damage, ignoring Ajani, going right at their face. So Scorch Spitter triggers, they take 1, going at 6, and then they have 5 damage coming at them. They're going to block something. They are blocking the Scorch Spitter, so 4 gets in, but we infuriate one of the Fervent Champions, making it a 5/3, and we get in for lethal, and that is GG, and we can move on to game 2. And according to the timer on Streamlabs, that was 3 minutes and 20 seconds, so go mono red. Alright, another mono red aggro deck. I'm sorry if mono red is boring to watch. I promise it's almost equally as boring to play. The first couple games are like, this is fun, but then after you play this deck for like many hours at a time, because that's the kind of thing I do obviously, it gets really stale after a while. And you might think it'd be the opposite, where when you're playing Control for several hours, you're like, oh man, this is irritating. Control is tiring, but aggro is just not the most fun you can have with Magic cards. So I'm going to go right in. I'm hoping that they take this bait and block. Yeah, see, they're thinking I'm making a misplay, but what I'm actually doing is I am going to pump the Fervent Champion. Remember, it has first strike. So when they go to attack each other, the Fervent Champion will deal the damage first. Hence, first strike. So now I have killed their Knight of Ebon Legion, and I still have my Fervent Champion. I used the Rimrock Knight as a pump spell because now next turn I can cast the Rimrock Knight and then have 2 creatures on the board. Oh, they've returned their dude to their hand. That's okay because we have yet another pump spell in our hand. So first we're going to attack because we have no other hasty dudes. Now that we've attacked and dealt damage, on the second main phase we can cast Light Up the Stage for its spectacle cost, which is 1 red. And now we can cast our things that are exiled with it. So let's go ahead and cast the Grim Initiate, and then we will leave 1 red open so that when they replay their Knight of Ebon Legion, we can just shock it and get rid of it, and then the way is clear and we can attack again for 2 damage. I'm a little surprised they played the Knight again. I thought that they would see the shock and exile and be a little more skeptical about it. Timurit, chosen from death. Okay, so I'm pretty sure they're just on Mono Black Devotion. That was Gwen. So, like I said, I'll shock their Knight of Ebon Legion on the end of their turn. And now they have a 2/2 blocker, which is cool. But I've got that first strike. So let's go in with the first strike, boys. And they have blocked again. I really don't think they know what's going on here, because I'm going to pump and first strike, kill the Timurit, and get in with the Fervent Champion. Second main, we will cast this Rimrock Knight. They're not doing so hot. Yeah, pump spells aren't the most common thing in the world, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just weren't playing around pump spells, which is totally okay. You don't have to. Okay, this is good. So we drop the Runaway Steamkin, and then after that we can drop Annex Hardened in the Forge, because the Steamkin will get +1/+1, and the Annex comes down at a 6/3 for 3 mana. So that's pretty sweet. The Fervent Champion also buffs the Rimrock Knight, which is cool, making it a 4/1 because of the Knight typing on the Rimrock Knight. So we will see what they've got lined up for us next. They're going to put Timurit on top of their deck, but I think it's just too little too late at this point. If we can draw an Ember Cleave, we just win. We didn't draw the Ember Cleave, but it's okay. We drew Steamkin, so we will drop that and make our other Steamkin into a 3/3, and then we are just going to Alpha Strike, go in with everything, see how they block. And they are now at 3 life. 2 of their creatures just died, so they get to they get Erebos triggers. I don't imagine they're going to do them, because losing 2 life to draw cards is bad at this point for them. So they're down to 1 life. I have all these things in play. If they board wipe, my Annex will make 5 more tokens, so I will be left with enough things to kill them with. Pretty much anything they play at this point is just a blocker, but they have to be able to block a ton of there's the concede right there. So that is the end of the game. Let's just do one more and call it a day. Now I know what you're thinking. I'm clearly doing very well with this deck, and you're probably wondering, well, why did I spend so much time trying to make control work when this is just very effective? And the answer is that I have a lot more fun with control, and I feel like control gives me a little bit more room to be creative in my deck building. And I will be fully honest, this is a deck that I pulled off the internet because I had to make Mythic in 2 days, and well, that's it. I had to make Mythic in 2 days. So to get into that time constraint, I just built something that I knew would be effective that I pulled off the internet, and that is this, and I'm very happy with it. But, you know, I do intend to force control and make it work at some point. I just don't quite have the cards for it yet, I think. Yeah. So now that we've dealt some damage, we can do a Light Up the Stage, which is great. And we got a Mountain and a Grim Initiate, and that pretty much spells out what our next turn is going to be. We're going to drop that Mountain, drop that Grim Initiate, and then still have mana left over for pump spells. It looks like we're against the same deck, Mono Black Devotion. And that matchup can actually go very poorly for me. So I'm really happy to see it twice, so I get to practice against it, really. So we'll see if they block with Timurit, chosen from death. I don't expect they will. They did not. So this might be a player who does know that the deck uses pump spells. I'm not quite sure the last fellow was thinking about that. So I'm actually going to play Rimrock Knight as a creature, skip the pump spell, because the plan is now I have enough creatures to attack and make Embercleave cost 2. So I can swing in with a lot of stuff, and whatever gets blocked, probably by Ayara, I'm going to put the Embercleave on. And we have 2 pump spells as well to make Embercleave better. So let's go in for a ton of damage. The Fervent Champion buffs the Rimrock Knight, and we'll see if any blocks take place. At this point, it would be pretty crazy to me if there were no blocks. But you know, if we do our math correctly, we might just win right here. Okay, I think what we're going to do is Embercleave down. Put the Embercleave on the Rimrock Knight, making it a 5/2 double strike. And then we will buff it to make it a 8/4 double strike. And now it doesn't matter how they've blocked because we deal 8 damage to their face, and then another 8 damage, and they're at -3, and the game is over on turn 3 or 4, or whatever that was. Mono red aggro. Look into it. And that's it for today. So thank you so much for watching, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram and Twitch, the other one. I'm on Twitch sometimes, not often, but it exists. Under the name Grixis School 15, so feel free to look into those things. And I will be back on Thursday with some Pokemon Go Battle League. And that's it for us today. She doesn't want to kiss. That's okay. All right, I'm going to go now. Where's my stop record button? Yeah, okay, bye. Okay, so that above my head is the deck. You can see it is called Mythic Please, because I was trying to get to Mythic. It is mono red aggro, so we're just playing mountains and hitting faces. So Fervent Champion, 1/1 for 1, first strike and haste. When it attacks, it gives another knight +1/+0, so when you're attacking with 2 of them, you get 2 2/1s with first strike and haste. Grim Initiate, 1/1 first strike. When it dies, you make a token, so it replaces itself. 4 copies of Infuriate, 1 with different artwork, because I don't own 4 of the same artwork, unfortunately. That irritated me. It infuriated me, is what I should have said. So it gives +3/+2, which is nice. It's a pump spell, and you'll see why later on. It's very good. Scorch Spitter is just a 1/1 for 1. When it attacks, it deals an additional damage to the creature or player planeswalker it's attacking. Shock, 1 damage, or 2 damage, 1 mana, classic red card. Rimrock Knight. So half of it is a pump spell, +2/+0, and the other half is a 3/1 that can't block. But you don't need to block because you're just attacking all day. And then we, of course, have Runaway Steamkin. Cast a red spell, it gets a +1 counter, remove 3 +1 counters, add 3 red. And then we have Annex, Hardened Up, and the Forge guy. His power is your devotion to red, so he gets very big very fast. And whenever it dies or another creature that is not a token dies, you create a 1/1 token that cannot block. If the creature was bigger than 4, you get 2 tokens. So when he gets bigger than 4 and dies, you get 2 tokens to replace him. And then the smaller dudes, so when your opponent wipes the board, clears all your creatures, all your dudes are replaced with 1/1s, so you can still keep attacking, still keep that pressure up. Light up the stage. You can play it for 3, or if your opponent's taken damage, you can play it for 1. You exile top 2 cards of your library. You can play them for this turn or the next turn. So it's kind of like drawing cards in red, which is rare. 2 copies of Phoenix of Ash, flying haste, can escape from the graveyard, coming back as a 3/3. And then, of course, Embercleave, which I see is at 3 copies. I feel like it should be at 4. That seems better. How many do I own? I do own 4. Let's put the 4th one in. Oh, I have to cut something. That's awkward. Let's cut. Let's cut a Runaway Steamkin. I'm a little bored of it anyway. And then, okay, so then we got the Castle Embreth to pump your dudes, and then below that, you can't see because my face is there, just a bunch of mountains. So let's play some red deck wins with the deck that got me to Mythic.